You might be holding the most high-tech machine gun out there with carbon fiber, tactical rails, and a digital sighting system. But when it comes to reliability, raw toughness, and battlefield legacy, there are classic weapons that still school the modern ones. Some machine guns were so well designed that even decades after they were introduced, they remain absolute references. They've gone through world wars, civil conflicts, and still influence modern designs. Others are so legendary they became symbols of warfare itself. Now think about this. How is it possible that, with all the technology we have today, some machine guns designed nearly a century ago still haven't been outdone? Today's video is a full-on journey through time as we look at the top 10 legendary classic machine guns that modern weapons still can't surpass, whether for their ruggedness, design, or battlefield dominance. And stay tuned until the very end because the number one gun is still in use today, nearly unchanged from its original design, and it's a true beast. DP-28. Designed in 1927 by Vasily Degtyarev in the Soviet Union, the DP-28 was meant to be a lightweight, reliable, and low-cost squad-level machine gun, and that's exactly what it delivered. It fires the 7.62 x 54 mm R cartridge, the same round used in the famous Mosin Nagant rifle. It's gas-operated, air-cooled, and fully automatic. The rate of fire is around 500 to 600 rounds per minute, with an effective range of over 800 meters. But what really stands out is its top-mounted, circular drum magazine that holds 47 rounds. This unique look earned it nicknames like the record player or frying pan among Allied troops during World War II. Recoil is moderate, but its robust, oversized moving parts made it incredibly durable. Even in mud, snow, and sand, the DP-28 was designed for newly drafted peasant soldiers, meaning it had to be simple and tough. Its sound is metallic and deep, with a rhythmic firing pace. Handling it is straightforward, and despite its old-school looks, the DP-28 was a workhorse of the Red Army during World War II, the Korean War, and even into Vietnam. Today, many are found in museums and private collections, but some are still operational in smaller conflicts in Africa and Asia, nearly 100 years later. If this Soviet veteran already impresses, wait until you see the next one, a British legend from World War II. Bren gun. Developed in the late 1930s, the Bren gun was born from a collaboration between the UK and Czechoslovakia. Its name comes from Brno, the Czech city where the original design was conceived, and Enfield, the British factory that adapted and manufactured it. The Bren is a light machine gun, chambered in .303 British, with a signature top-mounted, curved magazine. It fires at 500 to 520 rounds per minute, with an effective range of about 500 meters. It uses gas operation with a fire selector, allowing controlled bursts with impressive precision for a machine gun. Recoil is light and manageable. The 30-round magazine combined with a quick-change barrel system made it ideal for extended use without overheating. The Bren sounds clean and rhythmic, almost musical. Its smooth cycling and solid build made it a trusted companion for British troops. It was used extensively during World War II across every British theater, from the North African deserts to the jungles of Southeast Asia. After the war, it remained in service during the Korean War, in Malaysia, and even in the Falklands. And here's the twist. Ireland and India kept the Bren in active service well into the early 2000s. If the Bren's precision and elegance already impress you, get ready. The next weapon bridges Soviet tradition with modern firepower. RPD. Officially introduced in 1944, the RPD was designed by Vasily Degtyarev as a successor to the DP-28. Its goal: create a lightweight, mobile, and easy-to-maintain machine gun for the Red Army, capable of laying down continuous suppressive fire. The RPD is chambered in 7.62 by 39 mm, the same cartridge as the AK-47. It's gas-operated, belt-fed, and fully automatic, with a 100-round metal belt stored in a drum canister on the side. It fires at about 600 rounds per minute, with an effective range of 500 to 800 meters. It has a rugged, compact look, wood furniture, long barrel, built-in bipod. And for a gun of its class, it's relatively lightweight, making it ideal for fast-moving fire support. Its sound is sharp and forceful, with a cadence that seems tailor-made for battlefield dominance. Recoil is moderate, but its simple construction keeps it highly controllable. The RPD was used heavily by the Viet Cong during the Vietnam War, supplied by the USSR and China. It also made its way into the hands of dozens of pro-communist forces worldwide. And here's the crazy part. Even though it was officially replaced by the PKM, the RPD is still used by militias and irregular forces today, thanks to its unbeatable reliability in harsh conditions. And speaking of PKM, if you're enjoying this journey through the world of legendary firepower, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss what's coming next. PKM. Created in 1961 by Mikhail Kalashnikov, the PKM is considered by many experts to be the greatest general-purpose machine gun ever made. PKM stands for Kalashnikov Modernized Machine Gun, and it absolutely lives up to the name. It fires the 7.62 by 54 mm R round, belt-fed with up to 125 rounds per belt, and is gas-operated with a fully automatic firing system. It has a rate of fire of around 700 rounds per minute, with an effective range of up to 1,000 meters. The PKM has a well-balanced design with controlled recoil, built from stamped parts to reduce weight without sacrificing strength. It can be fired from a bipod, tripod, or mounted on vehicles, giving it exceptional versatility. Its firing sound is aggressive and sharp, a rhythm that demands attention. Holding it, you feel like you're operating a no-nonsense war machine, dependable, rugged, and absolutely deadly. It's used by dozens of countries, including Russia, China, Iran, and even NATO members. Few people realize that the PKM has been involved in almost every major conflict since the 1970s, from Afghanistan to the Balkans, Africa, and the Middle East. And here's what's wild. Even with newer weapons on the market, many armed forces still prefer the PKM because of how flawlessly it performs. If you thought the PKM was unbeatable, just wait until you see the next one. A global legend still going strong today.
Fire in the hole!
FN Mag M240. Developed by Belgium's Fabrique Nationale FN in 1958, the FN Mag, short for General Purpose Machine Gun in French, is one of the most widely used machine guns in the world. Its U.S. military version, the M240, was adopted in the 1970s. It fires the 7.62 by 51 mm NATO cartridge and is belt-fed, typically with 100 to 200 round belts. It's gas-operated with a rotating bolt, giving it solid, dependable cycling even in rough conditions. Its rate of fire can vary from 600 to 1,000 rounds per minute depending on the gas setting. With optics, it has an effective range of 1,800 meters, or around 800 meters with standard iron sights. It's a medium machine gun, built for sustained fire and capable of being mounted on bipods, tripods, vehicles, helicopters, and more. The FN Mag is known for extreme reliability in hostile environments. Mud, sand, water, snow, it keeps running. Recoil is strong but manageable, and its ergonomics allow for consistent firing without loss of control. The sound is low and booming, with a steady beat. Handling the mag gives you a sense of power and confidence, like you're wielding a true battlefield tool. It's seen action in every major conflict since the 1960s: Vietnam, the Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan, the Balkans, and it's still in use in over 80 countries. What many people don't know is that the mag's bolt system is partially based on the design of the M1918 BAR, which just so happens to be our next weapon on the list. If you thought accuracy and reliability were impressive so far, the next weapon marks the birth of the modern light machine gun. Browning BAR M1918. Developed during World War I by the legendary John Browning, the BAR M1918, short for Browning Automatic Rifle, is a unique hybrid between an automatic rifle and a light machine gun. It fires the .30-06 Springfield cartridge, a powerful, high-performance round with an effective range of up to 900 meters. It uses a 20-round box magazine and features both semi-automatic and fully automatic modes. The mechanism is based on long recoil operation, giving it both power and dependability. The BAR has heavy recoil, but it's offset by its weight, around 7.5 kilograms. Its firing sound is deep and thunderous, with a cadence of 400 to 600 rounds per minute, depending on the model.
Pretty cool.
Visually, the BAR is a beast. Dark wood finish, long barrel, and a commanding presence. It's the kind of weapon that demands respect the moment it's shouldered. Handling it takes strength and skill, but once mastered, it's one of the most satisfying shooting experiences you can have in a shoulder-fired weapon. Originally designed to deliver mobile firepower in the trenches of World War I, the BAR really came into its own during World War II and the Korean War, especially in the hands of American infantry charging through enemy lines. The BAR helped shape the entire concept of automatic support rifles, and its legacy lives on in modern firearms like the FN SCAR and even the M240. And here's a lesser-known fact. During the Prohibition era in the 1930s, both law enforcement and organized crime used the BAR in high-profile confrontations, including shootouts with famous gangs and bank robbers. If the BAR changed everything, the next gun on our list took fear and firepower to a whole new level. MG42. The MG42, built in Nazi Germany in 1942, is one of the most iconic and feared machine guns in military history. Its full name is Maschinengewehr 42, and it was designed to replace the MG34 by keeping high performance but reducing production cost. It fires the 7.92 by 57 mm Mauser round and has an insane rate of fire, between 1,200 and 1,500 rounds per minute. That's right, nearly 25 rounds per second. This terrifying speed earned it the nickname Hitler's buzzsaw for its high-pitched, cutting sound. It's belt-fed, usually with 50 to 250 rounds, and uses short recoil operation with a gas assist. Its effective range is 1,000 meters with iron sights, and over 2,000 meters with optics. The MG42 has a very aggressive, angular design. Its stamped parts allowed for mass production without compromising performance. It also featured a quick-change barrel system, which was crucial for handling the heat from that high rate of fire. The sound of the MG42 is unforgettable. Live, it doesn't even sound like individual shots, just a continuous ripping roar. It had such a strong psychological effect that Allied troops were trained to recognize its sound immediately. Used on every front of World War II, from Normandy to the Eastern Front, the MG42's design proved so effective that it continues in service today as the MG3, used by many NATO countries. And here's the kicker. The MG42 directly inspired the American M60, which is our next entry, and carries that brutal legacy forward. And if you're loving these legendary, powerful, or just plain unique weapons, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because what's coming next will blow your mind. M60. First introduced in the late 1950s, the M60 was America's answer to the concept of a general-purpose machine gun, one that could be carried by infantry or mounted on vehicles and helicopters. It fires the 7.62 by 51 millimeter NATO round, belt-fed with 100 to 200 round belts, and has a moderate rate of fire around 500 to 600 rounds per minute. Its effective range can reach over 1,000 meters with optics. The M60 is gas-operated with a rotating bolt, designed for sustained fire in tough environments. Weighing around 10 kilograms, it has a relatively manageable recoil, and its sturdy build keeps it stable even during long bursts. Its firing sound is dry and punchy with a steady rhythm. Handling the M60 takes experience, but its ergonomic design helped countless soldiers stay effective in the field. It was nicknamed the Pig, both for its weight and its appetite for ammo. The M60 became an icon during the Vietnam War. Soldiers often carried it on their shoulders, firing while standing, a sight burned into pop culture and war films. It was also used in the Gulf War, Panama, and peacekeeping missions around the world. Here's a fact most people don't know. The M60 was heavily based on the German MG42, borrowing its quick-change barrel system and modular construction. If the M60 represents modern-era firepower, the next machine gun is where it all began. Maxim. Invented in 1884 by Hiram Stevens Maxim, the Maxim is the world's first fully automatic machine gun, a groundbreaking innovation that forever changed the face of warfare. It used a revolutionary short recoil system that harnessed the energy of each shot to cycle the mechanism and load the next round. The same basic principle that most automatic weapons still use today. It fired a variety of cartridges depending on the country, from .303 British to 7.92 Mauser and 7.62 by 54 mm R. Rate of fire was 400 to 600 rounds per minute, with an effective range of up to 1,200 meters. Unlike today's portable weapons, the Maxim was large and heavy, water-cooled, and typically mounted on a tripod with a front armor shield. Fully loaded with tripod and water jacket, it could weigh over 60 kilograms, making it a defensive powerhouse. Its firing sound was deep and mechanical, a thudding, steady beat that filled the trenches of World War I. Steam rising from the water jacket after prolonged fire was a common sight on muddy battlefields. The Maxim was used by British, German, Russian, Chinese forces, and many more. The Russian variant, known as the TM-N1910, mounted on sleds with wheels and armor, became an icon in both world wars. And get this, there are confirmed reports of Maxims built in 1910 still functioning today in former Soviet arsenals. In fact, some have even been seen in use during modern conflicts like Ukraine. This is a machine gun that's over 100 years old and still operational. Without the Maxim, none of the other guns on this list would even exist. But if that's not unbelievable enough, our number one pick is even more powerful, more durable, and still in active service today. Browning M2. The Browning M2, better known as Ma Deuce, is more than just a machine gun. It's a military legend. Designed by John Browning at the end of World War I and officially adopted in 1933, the M2 has been in combat for nearly a full century, and it's still going strong. It fires the massive .50 BMG Browning machine gun round, one of the most powerful cartridges ever used in a portable weapon. It can penetrate light armor, vehicle engines, and even structures at distances of over 2,000 meters. Belt-fed with 50 to 200 rounds, the M2 fires at 400 to 600 rounds per minute, with an effective range of 2,000 meters, and lethality well beyond that. It uses a short recoil operation with manual feed cycling, making it incredibly reliable. The M2 is heavy, over 30 kilograms just for the gun alone, and is typically mounted on tripods, vehicles, guard towers, or helicopters. Its sound is deafening, each shot like a thunderclap. Recoil is intense, but fully controllable when mounted properly. The M2 has been used in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf War, Afghanistan, Iraq, every major U.S. conflict. It's used for anti-aircraft, anti-vehicle, infantry suppression, and convoy protection. What's truly mind-blowing? The M2 is still being produced today, almost unchanged. Using the same basic blueprint John Browning drew up nearly 100 years ago. No other machine gun in history has served this long with so few modifications. It appears in movies, video games, documentaries, and history books. It's a symbol of power, durability, and absolute dominance. If any machine gun has ever stood the test of time, it's the Browning M2. Today, we explored some of the most rare, historic, lethal, and even bizarre machine guns ever made, but each one has its own incredible story. From the muddy trenches of World War I to today's urban battlefields, these classic machine guns prove that real engineering stands the test of time. These aren't just weapons, they're symbols of eras, battles, and entire ways of life. They're part of history, and in many cases, they helped shape it. Now tell me in the comments, which of these machine guns did you find most impressive? Which one would you love to have in your collection or see in person someday? If you're into this kind of content, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, because every week we bring you the most curious, powerful, and legendary weapons the world has ever seen. See you in the next video.